Hey, it's Chris. I have to remember which video this is. This is the crowdfunding roundup because I'm filming crowdfunding roundup and the You Shouldn't Back Anything in July back to back, right? So, what's new this week? A little bit lighter week overall. A little bit of everything, as always. Where are we going with this? Two things, especially at the beginning, interesting to talk about. Let's go. Look, I'll be honest, my personal pick of the week, I'm simping over for this. Dodos riding Dinos, first race. I'll have a video out either on Sunday or Monday talking about this one, as well as the Dodos riding Dinos sequel standalone expansion, 2-in-1 to give you a little bit of an appeal. But I mean, these games are just fun, folks. These games have the it factor. You know, if you're looking for a kid's game, a nice step up, this is fantastic from that side of things. However, the biggest issue that we ran into initially, some of us more than others when we were playing it, was the symbology on these cards are a little bit tricky to discern if you have a little bit younger kids with this one. So that's the main thing you need to know. But the nice twist of this game compared to the other Dodos riding Dinos, if you're familiar with them, I mean, the basic concept, right, is this Mario Kart. You play your card, it has a certain number of movement points, it also has a certain special action on it potentially, and you have three different types of cards. You have your blues, which are just kind of your regulars, your reds, which are your super special, high risk, high rewards, and you've got your greens, which are your reacts, allowing you to take that against someone else. The difference in this one, the main difference in this one, is that the red cards can be played against other people's red cards. So like in the base game, if more than one person plays a red card, essentially at most player counts, then they cancel each other out. Well, in this one, well, you need to have certain specific requirements. Like you might need to be able to discard 5 cards in order to play your red card. So that's the thing you're going to get. Actually, let me take that back. 5 cards in order to get the special ability, because the upper left-hand corner will still have the number of spaces you move. And it's just a race to the end. The big thing I'd say, okay, you've got your usual eggs, meteorites, stars, and bananas here. And it's slightly flicking them different ways, because if you hit your opponent with one of those, then they get moved back, essentially, or they suffer other penalties. Or sometimes in this game, the other twist is that if you hit yourself, you can actually give yourself a bonus. So that's the other big twist that I really like. And so it's doing some cool things just slightly differently, and it's different enough than the other ones. The only problem I have is this is a double-sided board, at least that I have as a prototype copy right now, is that, I mean, there's nothing on the board, right? It's just literally a track. And so I'd love to see something on the board to give a dynamic difference that way. But otherwise, it's, you know, again, this is right here. This quote right here, it made us laugh the entire time. We were playing, my 3-year-old was just cackling because he was on my wife's team and he got to drop the meteor. And he was just cackling, and the other two were just a blast. This is probably the most laughing, fun game that we have had, bar Clask 4-player, in my house in years. So take that for what you will. There's the star that I said with this mini expansion. Again, it's like you put it on your hand and you flick it off the top of your hand. It's incredibly hard to actually use successfully. That'd be my only issue otherwise, is the symbology, right? Like that one's straightforward, right? So here you go. Here's the example, right? Star, get hit by the star in the red. Whoever gets hit by it gets moved 6 spaces. So if there's a white box, then the white box is what happens if you hit somebody. The black box that's over on the right side here as well too then happens if you do not hit somebody with a projectile. So that's it. There's an asymmetric power to go along with each of these dinosaurs if you want. And that's just everything you need to know. And it's a fantastic game. Fantastic. So my video should have been on this page, but I was behind on things, as you well know that I often am. So Detestable Games is trusting me enough to talk about it, though, and I give them kudos because I really like this game a lot. And so, yeah, I wanted to talk about it first today. So then let's talk about Ascension Legends, $123,000, standalone extension set, offering you stretch goals in terms of promo cards. I was thinking about this quote the other day, right? The people are like, it's one of all times, right? Like it's one of the board games of all time, right? Not like one of the best board games of all time, one of the games of all time. Anyway, not referring to Ascension, but this quote just reminded me of that quote in general. So standalone, 1 to 4 players. What are you getting new, and why would you do this, and why would you ever do stretch pay, folks? Oh man, that just boggles my mind. But if you were looking at the new GameFound page, which I guess I can rant on tomorrow's news video as a whole, is they give you like all the little updates, but guess what? You can also search projects by stretch pay. Ooh, standard edition plus protection. Protection. Phrasing! Little Archer there. Protection! I can't stop giggling about that now. You're going to pay $40 for protection, though? Well, playmat. Do you need a playmat for a deck builder? Yeah, I'd say, okay, maybe. $40 for the standard edition isn't bad, though. I don't really want foils. I don't really want foils. Is that the only difference? Entirely foil set of cards. So wait, like a full new set of foil cards, or just like, holy cow, 181 foil cards. That's a lot of foil cards. Just, I mean, that art right there is kind of lost in the foil. The art is lost in the foil there. That doesn't look good to me. I mean, lenticular is kind of cool, but they're also horribly impractical, and they're just a show-off piece rather than anything else. Premium pawns. I mean, I look at this and I go, that looks great for $40, and you're getting the stretch goals. So again, I just wonder how much promos and, you know, that sort of thing is worth, because I'd argue that you're going to be looking at a very similar price. I'm not going to say less. I'm going to look at a very similar price at retail. And it's Ascension, right? It's a deck builder. It's, you got your currencies, you got your 2 themes, and you're buying stuff. They've done a little bit of what Cryptozoic has, though, here in the expansion add-ons, because you'll notice that these boxes are smaller. It's because they're just the center decks. It's not all the extra superfluous stuff like Aeon's End does all the time, where you buy an Aeon's End and you get like 37 copies of Gravehold and, you know, 1,000 crystals and little, you know, you have so many copies of so many generic base stuff that you just go, I hate that. And so I give them kudos for this, because this is really good. At the same time, GameFound, I hate that you're doing this. Lowest price in 30 days. What are we, Amazon? What are we, Camel? What the deucing deuce is that supposed to... Or, you know, what that makes me wonder is, you know, are they going, well, we're going to increase the add-ons on the pledges at some point, and then now it's not, and obviously it's not going to happen during the campaign, but could you see that happening during the pledge manager? And then again, like, how does that entice people later if it doesn't say that? Like, if that becomes a feature, right? If that's a feature, then at some point, then it's also going to be a turnoff, or it's a FOMO. So no, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I do not want to see that. Do you need any of the extras? Do you need anything else, right? Like, Ascension is one of the games of all time, as I said earlier. So I don't need to go over the gameplay mechanics. It's a deck builder. The only thing I've been seeing, though, right now is, why would I get this Ascension? What makes this Ascension special? You're telling me that this is a Legends. What's in the box? Okay, Legends. Okay, playboard. Fantastic. Cards, pawns, legendary heroes. Great, great. I have no news about why I should get this one over anything else that's available right now from Ascension. Period. Nothing. Nothing unless foil. Gameplay mechanics, the upgrades in terms of, you know, what's new in this version as opposed to other versions. Again, standalone. I like the center deck thing. I give them kudos for that. That's great. I don't need starting hands, honor board, honor tokens, original box. I don't need any of that. I love that. That's exactly what Cryptozoic did with DC deck building. I just wish that this right here was somewhere on the actual freaking page. Mechanics. I want to see mechanics. A new way to play. Okay. What? I don't see any of this on the page whatsoever. How are you going to interest people without having any text? Like, don't get me wrong. I like watching me a good video every once in a while, but I don't like not being able to get information as well from non-video situations. Did I say that right? I probably screwed that up. I like getting information from text as well. And I'm like you guys in that way. So I go over to the Board Game Geek page, and at least they have, I mean, again, like, if you can upload it into Board Game Geek, why can't you put it on the page? A new type of monster called Remnants. Once defeated, grant abilities to specific factions, representing trials as the heroes become legends. The game also features the return of dual faction cards, more strategic depth, and more variety in game deck building. Like, I'm interested in this, right? Like, I'm a huge deck building fan, right? Like, look, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to put it on my wish list, but I'm also going to go, okay, well, why am I going to get it? If I can find it, the link back up at the top here. Why am I going to get it on crowdfunding? And, you know, a dozen promos, 16 promos, whatever it is, isn't going to entice me. Foils are not going to entice me. I'm wait and see, because again, I can't tell if all of those things are a good thing, if it's going to make it too complicated, as one or two of you said. I saw you in the comment section talking about DC United. So I'll also be filming the Should You Back on DC United very soon after this as well. So again, Ascension Legends, I like what they're doing here. I like it, but I'm just not sure if I can spend money on it right now from Stoneblade. So we'll see where it goes. Then we're going back over here to Jurassic Feud. Jurassic Feud, it's Catapult Feud. It's Catapult Feud with Dinos, essentially. And I was looking at this and I was like, okay, again, I love the idea of this game. I love the, you know, overall, could I play this with my kids? Dodos riding dinos sort of things with my kids, right? $55,000. Again, clearly not the, well, smashing success that Catapult was initially, but it's just a retheme of it, you know, as well. You're building. And this reminds me of the Catacombs game, the Castles and Catacombs, the mini version of that, which was supposed to be like mini, right? Like easier and head-to-head. And I said, okay. But then like the setup and the teardown and the overhead in terms of just like learning it with the kids and playing with the kids and having the kids do all the stuff, that was the issue. And I look at this and I go, you know, if you've got kids under like, say like 8, this is going to be really tough for them in any sort of logistical or smart manner. And so ideally, this is a kids game. This presents itself as a kids game, but this is not going to be easy to play with kids in that same sense if your kids are like mine. The other interesting thing that I saw down below, and I'm not sure if this is only for the 4 players or when you're like battling against each other all simultaneously, or if it's even at the like the 2-player count, it says like the optimal distance is 1.5 meters. Now for these people on my channel named me who are mathematically and spatially challenged, 1.5 meters is about 4.5 feet between. Like, do you have a table that's big enough to do 4.5 feet between players? No, you're playing it on the floor then. Do you have a large enough area, especially if you played with more than 2 people, that you could have a square of essentially 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet and then have them set up around there? Like, that is a cluster waiting to happen. That guy's doing mad work, right? Like, props. He burned a bunch of calories doing that over and over again. And I mean, again, it's cool, like, but you can see in this one right here, right, that's actually significantly distance far away. And they've got a bunch of modes, right? You can do like the scramble mode where you just fire things as fast as you can. You got the advanced mode where you take 4 different phases, and you know, like one of them is the cleanup and the whatever, right? You have action cards. I don't know, but pick your dinosaur and go. The other thing I wonder about, right, when I was looking down at this, you know, looking at how much you're getting here in terms of the bricks, 16 bricks, that doesn't seem like a lot of bricks there. 16 more bricks on one side. And again, like with some of the pictures down here, let's see, not that one. That one seems pretty regular. And what are we getting here as well? Everything in Kickstarter, a whole bunch of junk here. Hydra expansion, Hydra, that's cool looking, but I don't know how it would actually incorporate. Volcano, what the heck is a volcano going to do? It looks like they get rolled out there. It's got a Fafnir situation going on there as a whole. Terrain map, awesome. But like that one right there, that's what you're going to be able to essentially assemble, which could make a very quick game and a very nice game from that aspect of things. But I look at some of the other pictures down here and it's like, at least it appears to me like you've got multiple sets playing at the same time. And then I go, wow, you know what though? 150,000 copies sold. That's really good. So it clearly has an appeal. It just wouldn't be feasible for me. Like right, this one right here, I think that's more of a, oh, there's the volcano, it opens up and the ready launch boom there. And then the Hydra is talked about here. Oh, what's going on with the Hydra? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, this is what I was talking about. This is the pictures like down here, like where people clearly have like 6 or 8 sets and they're all combining them together. Like you just got to make sure that that is not what you're going in for. And what you're going in for is this. And so if you're okay with that, then I think this is fine. And if you have the teardown setup patience, I don't have the patience for that. And so that would be my issue, right? Here's the diagram I was talking about, 1.5 meters. So go wild, get a bunch of stuff. And again, it's expensive though, $180 for those 2 sets and those expansions, right? Like that little conglomeration of, you know, several sets up there, you could be looking at like $300-400 worth of stuff there. So that'd be my only concern. Nah, you want some exclusives? Get them on here. If you don't, go find it later and get it that way as well too. So Vesuvius Media putting out another feuding game, this time in the Jurassic. Next up, Pandora Celeste. And again, all the comparisons on this page are to Nemesis. Every single comparison is to Nemesis. They've got a 3D box that apparently like pops up and has, you know, walls as they're going along. And so I guess I'd actually say check out the rules and check out the actual gameplay of this one. And here you can kind of see the GIF giving you a little bit of the, and here you can kind of see the GIF giving you a little bit of representation of what this is going to look like as it unfolds, which I worry about being cool, but I worry about just sturdy ability. Sturdy ability, I can do that. It's my channel. Again, like nasties are on board, right? Those are aliens. And so you take your actions, you move from area to area, flipping up tokens that are in your area that are going to give you cards to go along with your deck, which are going to be your actions. On your turn, you take one of your action cards and you go around until somebody can't play action cards that they want to. But however, if you don't have the action card that you want, you can play 2 of them face down in order to get the action you want. But once someone passes, then everyone else can play 2 action cards they want in order to do the things they want to do sooner rather than later. And then again, when everyone's passed, then you go on to the nasty phase. The nasty phase is then calculated because you're going to be attracting noise a la your Nemesis that I just talked about. And then the noisiest one is the first target of the AI system that these nasties are going to be utilizing. And these cards are going to have action symbols that may be linked or they may be ors, and so you're going to have to do that. And then at the end of every turn, you're going to discard back down, and then you're going to draw back up to 5 cards per hand. And so they give you a learn to play, they give you a little bit of a rules book as well on the page, and you get to see a little bit of what's actually going on. I mean, there's different types of cards that you're using, there's tools, there's going to be different types of nasties. Nasties are going to hit you. Nasties are going to be determined by the action system, as they will go after the most noisy person as a whole. The first person that they come across, though, will also be their target. And so depending on how that goes, well, that may be the deciding factor. And what you do is you just flip up a card, and depending on which type of nasty it is, it's going to either have like a red box or a blue box. And depending on like what nasty it is as well, it determines which box on the card you're going to choose or have the activated thing be. And then you're going to have other creatures that are going to be going along, and you're going to cooperate to shut down the trigger protocols and the abandoned ship. But each one you do, again, spawns more bad guys. And then as you're going along, you're going to have to do things, as they say in the rulebook here, like cleaning up messes, including firefighting, and utilizing the vents that are going to be able to be traversed in the first place. As well, as we scroll through the rulebook here, you have to do your agenda, though. That's how you're winning. You're recovering cards somewhere on the ship. MacGuffins, if you're familiar with that term as a whole, and then again dealing with the enemies that will pop up along the way and fighting the big bads as you go along. So you can't attack opponents essentially until you draw the Queen of Hearts, if you will, with the reference there to that card right there as the Discord is Sown card. Then all of a sudden you can attack other people, and they go through all of the other actions and all of the other content. I mean, this is a big rulebook, folks. So they've got a lot going on here. Waking up crew, becoming a nasty yourself, spreading the whole breach around, stern deck, darkness, all of this stuff. So there's a ton of stuff going on here. Don't be fooled by the artwork or anything else on the page to really give it a look-see. So it's funded, and we're going to see where it goes. So deluxify it as a whole, and crew gets you 6 crew, 3 nasties, and the cargo nasties, acrylic standees. And so 4 crew and 3 big nasties there. So $30 worth it for you from that standpoint. Base game early bird, I guess that's done because it looks great out. And yeah, early birds are done by the time I'm even filming this, let alone when you're looking at it. So all the information you need from a bunch of smarter people than me down here, so you can see what it actually looks like and entails and how it's dynamically different than the Nemesis that I was just describing it to and gets compared to. But it's succeeding, so give it a look-see. There you go, Pandora Celeste. Next up, Benben. It's $2,000 or $3,000. I mean, you're basically making these cubes of different colors. I can't actually tell how to play. You actually have to watch this video because you have these different cubes and you grab them in sets of 3 that aren't always going to be your own color, and you have to lay them out, but you can only lay them out on your own color center pyramid. And depending on the player counts, depends on the arrangement of them in the first place and the numbers of the pyramid bases that you can do. So that's it, though. I mean, somehow, again, 27 people, $2,000. Take that for what you will, but thought I'd throw it in there. Then we're going over here, Game Toppers, 4.5, Galactic Game Tables, Terrain Packs, and Mats, $30,000. And again, it's one of those where I need one. I need one for this table. I need one for my table out there. I just haven't gotten one. I'd love one. Not really a topper, but just a really good gaming mat, because I feel incomplete with my deluxifications until I get one. So my table, I don't think my wife would like getting a tapper on the table. Like, she would just, nope. Nope, 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 nope. And I just need a good, like, solid color mat. I'm not super, like, terrain, and I don't need wargamer stuff. And I just want something just, you know, a nice solid deep blue or deep dark green, just something like that color. Even that was blue that you just saw right there a half second ago. A couple of these down here, like the cobalt blue, the water, maybe not nature. Nature's too nature-y for me. Terrain green, maybe-ish, but I'd settle for a black. A volcano, no, I'd rather have Star Wars in space. And I think the prices are pretty good. I don't have the right size table for some of this stuff because my tables are both weird. Like, this is about a 3x3 in here. $59. I think that's pretty good comparatively. I think that's slightly less than what they retail for. I had their website up earlier, but I'll be honest, I wasn't looking at it. Double mat storage bundle, little goal stuff, you know, whatever. You just either get the thing you want or you don't. So it is a little bit more expensive than a few of the other places, and they're a little bit more premium, I think, comparatively. I've done a few Googlings in the past to try and see like what the true differences are and how that stuff changes. And I guess here, if you want some packages, they've got some package deals as well. And some pseudo stretch goals, I guess. So take that for what you will as going into more of the wargaming side of things. I haven't seen wargaming on the previous ones, but that just means I'm probably not paying attention enough as well. So just different play styles as the stretch goals and different terrain packs that are going to be available to you. Again, more stuff, awesome testimonials there from people that love them. So again, I just do some Googling and see, because I think you're going to find people happy with all of them and across the board not being able to necessarily tell as much a difference. but back who you want, support who you want, because I feel like it's the same way with game bags. There you go. Then we're talking EPOS. I believe that's how you're going to pronounce this one. And I'm not going to try and pronounce Gents, you know, because is it a hard G? Is it a soft G? But if you're familiar with that Euro game previously, this is set in that world from Spielworks, $32,000. Again, very similar funding here with this Game Found campaign. And it appears to be a wee bit on the heavier side of things, right? 3 epochs, 2 rounds in each epoch, 2 phases in each round. So if you're playing at home and mathing that out again, even for people like me, that's 6 rounds or 12 different phases you're going to be doing. And those phases are basically your action phases and then your cleanup phases. And you rinse and repeat and do that 6 times. And there's going to be certain things in each epoch that are going to be different or variable as this civ building game is going to be happening. Not kidding about this one, right? Gameplay right here is showing you what you're doing, because in the flourish phase, right, you're taking your action markers off of the game board, triggering actions, and reforming phase where you're tidying up your timeline and returning action markers to the game board. So does that make sense to you? Again, the do phase, you're taking them off, and the not do phase, you're putting them on. So that's what you're going to be doing with these hourglass markers as the following of the action markers. So a lot of civ building here, and it's mostly 1 to 4 player with, I believe, 8 linked potentially or individual scenarios, which you can campaign as well as solo it if you will. And these scenarios are actually going to be slightly different depending on the player counts. Most of them are either 1 to 4 or 2 to 4 players. But if you're not playing with the 4 players, you kind of got to dummy it out in the sense that some of the city markers, for example, in the 3-player games are going to be neutral. And some of the 2-player games, you're going to have to put an extra marker out there on top of that. So it's really a dynamic, probably best at 4, unless you like having those sorts of Automa-esque vibes in your games as a whole. So again, this is a heavy rule book. This is 32 pages of me scrolling through like this, and this doesn't include some of the scenario-specific stuff, which is a whole separate rule book as well, right? All of these are your new actions, deploying your pioneers, moving your pioneers, cities, revenue, in the 4-player game right there, right? Nuanced examples, revenue of the controlled areas. So I can't do this one justice from that aspect. So just give it a look-see. And, you know, with Spielworks, they kind of say, well, you know, we won't guarantee, you know, it will be available for trade at least for 6 months after all copies have been shipped to backers, if at all. So, you know, again, just say we're going to try and bring it to you, but we can't promise it. I mean, again, wording on these things, right? That has Launch Boom wording written all over it. And if you don't believe me, go to the bottom of the page because you'll see it's a Launch Boom aided one, like a lot of them are nowadays. So, I mean, you can get some of the videos that will tell you a little bit of what's going on here. Actually, we skipped over the actual gameplay videos, but there you go, how to plays. And you're going to have to look at that because that's not going to be my ilk. But you can try it yourself too on Tabletop Simulator. So if you're way looking at that as a heavy gamer, then give it a look-see, and I will stop rambling because I'm going to get myself in trouble. There you go. So actually, like I said, right? Short and sweet this week. Very, very nice. Huge news. There have been some huge game announcements that I am super excited about tomorrow in the news video. And next week, review or 2. The don't back. The should you back. A little bit of everything. Gosh, I love this. What do you think? Separate. I'm gonna do like maybe a shorts video post over the weekend. I kind of want to do like the uber popular but often malaligned and criticized reaction videos. Although, you know, how do you do a reaction video with a hobby that's as niche as this, right? There's not enough good stuff that comes to light or things like that. Or, you know what? Maybe I should just put a form on the bio page here that says submit things that you think I should react to, or submit your own news that I may have missed, right? How would you feel about that? I'm not smart enough to do that. Is that like SurveyMonkey or something along those lines? I'll maybe try and figure that out, or forum, just submit your stuff. If it gets abused though, that's, we'll see. So anyway, YouTube gave me a free voucher today for a free Domino's small pizza. Woo! They're like, hey, you've been doing this for 1,243 days or something like that. I don't know. It was something along those lines. And so here's a free pizza. That's all. That's all I got. Right? Free pizza. Yeah. Peace out. Stay classy.